should have worn my suit.
I know, you should have worn your suit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Feel so underdressed.
yeah. Well, fitting that you're the first guest. You've been
Yeah.
a close friend and advisor to the show here informally.
Yeah, thanks so much
for a long time.
Happy
And
Crypto Day.
Crypto Day. It's been very fun. It's such a it's amazing to get perspectives from so many different parts of the industry, investors, et cetera. And there's a lot to be optimistic right now. A lot more so than when you started Crypto the Game.
Yeah, I feel like we launched season 1 kind of in the depths of the bear market. It was, early 2024. Was trying to think about what to do next, and I know we had spoken.
Well, you had this idea forever.
Years, yeah. I can kind of give you the whole backstory, which I know you know, but could probably be helpful context for the listeners.
That'd be
But when I first started working on it for real, everyone was like, "You're crazy to build in crypto right now." But in hindsight, it was kind of the best time to launch.
Totally.
But yeah, I mean, I kind of grew up an obsessive Survivor fan. Watch every single season. They just announced the cast for season 50. I was like off camera reading up on that and apply every year. Never got a call back, but kind of played this like CD-ROM version of Survivor called Survivor Ultimate with my friends growing up, and it was like very, very rudimentary. You picked your tribe mate, you played tic-tac-toe for immunity, and you voted each other off against the computer. It was like very, very early, like early 2000s. And I don't know, just kind of like always envisioned this world where I could play a version of Survivor online with my friends. Fast forward to my professional life, I worked at HQ Trivia for the Rise and Fall, which if you're listening, might remember a live interactive game show, and started my career in TV, but joined HQ for kind of the grand vision of a live interactive TV network. So in the same way that HQ took a game show and made it live and mobile and interactive, the same could have and should have been said for a Shark Tank format or a talent competition or a dating show. And of course, in my mind, a Survivor show. So actually first pitched the idea for what is now CTG internally at HQ probably 6 or 7 years ago now, which is crazy. And then, it's just one of those ideas that kept coming up. I think I pitched it as an idea for a party around drop and just kind of like, was starting to think about what was next a couple of years ago. And
well, it's interesting because it was this one of the most complex products that you can build, right? Yeah. This like social, interactive, multiplayer, constantly evolving game that's happening on chain. So watching you build it, I mean, you and Tyler and Brian and the team just did it very quickly and then got to market. And I remember it very quickly took off, and you very quickly were just you probably didn't sleep the first week.
No, not at all. I mean, it kind of ballooned into this 24/7 game show. I mean, I kind of assumed, the way that it's set up, it's a 10-day season. Every day kind of follows the same format of a daily immunity challenge in the morning. Think like classic arcade games or crypto puzzles or digital scavenger hunts. If you win that challenge, you have immunity and you're safe from the vote that night. Yep. Everyone else votes people out. Basically, last person standing wins the pot. And I kind of assumed people would log in the morning, meet their tribe mates, make an alliance, register a score of a game, go back to work, and then kind of come back on that night to vote. But it just was so time consuming for the players. And as a result, it was just 24/7.
No, I remember. Weren't people like basically calling in sick or taking vacation days so that they could just fully lock in?
Most heavily requested question basically from players between seasons is like, when's the next season so I can request my PTO?
What was that early controversy you guys had? I think you navigated it well, obviously, because it turned into a second season and then an acquisition by Uniswap. But I feel like you quickly ran into the nature of crypto is that I forget who we were talking about this, but maybe it was Balaji, but crypto, because it's so financialized, is effectively incentivizing constant penetration testing and incentivizing the world to basically try to hack your system. And I forget the guy's name.
Anish.
I'm sure you guys are buddies now.
Yeah, I mean, we made up in the DMs for sure.
Yeah.
So the way that it works is basically you buy your entry for 0.1 ETH. that entry goes towards the prize, and the entire prize pot goes towards the winner at the end. And I was always kind of concerned that there could be some sort of Sybil attack. Someone would try to buy up 51% of the entries and basically guarantee themselves a victory. And, you know, there were a couple things we did to try to prevent that. And we for season 1, we kind of kept entries uncapped so that people couldn't like necessarily figure out what the 51% mark would be. But yeah, right before the entries locked and the season began, Anish and his army of bots basically bought up most of the slots. And kind of wearing my like Web 2 HQ trivia hat, I was like, oh, bots are bad. Basically like kicked them all out. And was like, this was built for real people and real players, and immediately got the wrath of crypto Twitter, which somehow happens every season to the point where like a few friends joke and think that like I'll intentionally like drum up some CT controversy so more people talk
Just
about
more
CTG.
attention. Yeah.
But I mean, I immediately realized that you know, bots aren't bad in this world, and so
it's part of the game.
Yeah, we ended up refunding Anish and you know, making things right, and he was so nice, and you know, we ended on good terms.
What was it like bringing Web 2 or sort of traditional companies into CTG? Because I remember you had some pretty high profile partnerships as well.
Yeah, Adidas actually sponsored a challenge during season 2, which was our season 2 controversy.
Wow.
But no, it's all good. But yeah, I mean, it was so incredibly like humbling and refreshing to see that basically after the virality of season 1, a brand like Adidas kind of saw this little internet experiment and decided to reach out and ask to be a part of it. So we had 6 sponsors for season 2, each sponsoring a different challenge, one of which was Adidas. The rest were all kind of like crypto native brands, one of which being Uniswap. And that kind
Do
of
you expect legacy brands to get more involved with crypto? We every once in a while we'll see them dip their toes in, whether it's with Adidas and CTG or Nike with its Artifact, right?
Yeah.
But it feels like that's died off a little bit. But at the same time, traditional institutions are getting more involved with crypto than ever.
Yeah, I think eventually we'll see it. I still think it's kind of a dirty word with like the big Fortune 500 like non-crypto brands.
Yeah.
The Artifact example like didn't go well for Nike. I would say the CTG example probably didn't go well for Adidas, which is like a whole nother conversation. But I think we as in crypto builders and pretty much everyone that's been on the show today and that you will speak with has seen some sort of like the wrath of the trenches and the army. And it's not a great feeling. And if you are a large like Fortune 500 brand with like a crisis comms team and you're kind of like seeing all of those replies and, you know, folks feel like basically when the crypto Twitter army like goes after brands, I think it's really hard to deal with. So having said all of that, as you know, the experience and the UI and the UX gets better, and you know, things like Privy like improve the login flow and wallet creation and kind of abstract away all of basically all of the crypto from these experiences. I think like big brands won't necessarily know that they're doing quote unquote crypto integrations. It'll all just feel like the internet.
That makes sense. How have you seen crypto? I would put CTG in the category of crypto entertainment or crypto gaming. It's one of the few games that it feels like crypto Twitter, crypto X like really played and got hyper engaged with, even though it was at a small scale. Have you seen any other games really capture people's attention? I know there was a bunch of like open world games that raised massive amounts of money, but then seemingly haven't delivered.
Yeah, ironically, for a crypto game founder, I'm not much of like a gamer myself. I think of CTG as much more of a game show than like a video game. But in my mind, the closest example is Yapster, which is also very heavily inspired by HQ Trivia. I don't know if you've played around with Yapster, but it's an interactive game show where you basically can submit memes. The players can vote on the memes, and like the winning meme each show is launched as a token. So it kind of has that, and it's 100% live, and everyone kind of like votes in real time. There's a chat functionality, and because of the speculation of like the token that like basically wins at the end, it has that feeling of a live show. So I would put Yapster in my mind as like the only other kind of like live interactive game show that's like really, really exciting me right now.
And how big can something like that get in your mind?
I think huge. I mean, there's like the secret sauce at HQ was that you could win real money, and like that is the case for like most of these crypto game shows. I think the difference with CTG and Yapster is that there's kind of only one winner each time, whereas with something like HQ, tons of people could win. But at the same time, because of that, you had folks basically winning like 25 cents or less than that with HQ because it grew so big. So I think like I don't necessarily know that like a live interactive meme coin show is going to onboard the masses, but there's like tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people on crypto Twitter right now.
What are you seeing right now on, because I know you'll end up advising or investing in other early stage crypto projects. What are you seeing as far kind of trends in the early stage? You clearly made the decision with CTG not to raise money, and you had every opportunity to. I remember in the early days you would ping me and you'd be like, "Oh, this fun," and I would, we would have. I remember having kind of conversations about why it would probably not be good for CTG if you were to raise, but many people I think wouldn't have made that same decision.
Yeah, no, I think with regards to raising, I think like not every single idea has to be a venture scale idea. I mean, we've spoken a ton about this, offline, but I think CTG was dreamed up as initially a drop, like a personal drop. I think that it's not like HQ in the sense that we really embrace seasonality and try to be very close to a TV show. And so we can technically go off air for like months in between. And I think the players need that because it's so intense, and we need that because it's so intense.
To actually build it,
I think if we had raised, we probably would be on that like hamster wheel of like having to build some sort of scalable platform so communities and people can kind of like spin up their own versions of the game. And it was just like a very manual process, and I felt like it wasn't necessarily the right choice for CTG, but. I don't know. I'm excited about Pixie Chess, which I know our friend Josh has started. And for those listening that aren't familiar, the way that it's been described to me is basically like a noun-style auction for different on-chain chess pieces that have magical powers. So you can imagine a queen that goes invisible, or a bishop that can go backwards, forward, sideways, etc. And every single day there's a different auction. You essentially acquire these pieces, add them to your deck, and the funds from those auctions go towards different Grand Slam tournaments that you can like take, basically take your deck with you and play against others. Really excited about that. I've been playing around with Vertigo, which is a new like decentralized exchange on Solana that's like anti-sniper. So I know you guys spoke to Ben and Alon, and a lot of these token launchers and tokens kind of have a sniper problem basically, where someone will buy up most of the supply and instantly dump it. So I think like building exchanges with like cleaner token protections and anti-sniping mechanisms is something that's just going to be net beneficial to everyone. So those are a couple of things that come to mind. And then the last is probably TokenWorks, which is like the closest thing we have to crypto mischief. They do different like token drops.
Yeah, I think I saw you posting about that.
Yeah, really excited. So is Brian Armstrong next?
I think so. I think we'll see. We'll check the calendar. Well, thank you for coming on. The first official TBPN.
Oh my God.
Gone.
Thank you so much for having me.
Not on the set, John, but there you are. Thanks for coming on, Dylan. And thanks for all the help on the show.